Executive Director of the Paradise Center for the Arts, and he's sitting right across from me this morning here on AM Minnesota. Jerry has not informed me what his show is about tomorrow. As soon as I know, I'll let you know. Maybe we'll all find out together tomorrow at 9:30. Chamber folks will be in on Wednesday. Susan Garwood, Rice County Historical Society Executive Director, is with us Thursday. Got a special event coming up that I'll be emceeing. The Big Band Sounds. I just love that big band music. They'll be performing at a Rice County Historical Society event. I'm looking forward to it. It's at the Legion. It is next Friday. Next Friday, by the way, we're going to talk about Heritage Days, which is the following week. Man, where's the summer gone? Kathy Honick joins us on Friday's AM Minnesota show. Did you know, Carter, that this is National CPR Week?
I did not know that.
Do you know CPR?
I do know CPR. I was trained in it, re-qualified about a year and a half ago.
That's good.
So, yeah, anybody goes down, I'm right there.
I took lessons at the fair. I don't know how good that was, but I did get certified there.
Good.
But if you were to keel over right now, I don't know how good I'd be.
Well, let's not find out.
No, let's not. Well, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you've been here, what, a couple weeks?
Yeah, been in the area a couple weeks, and actually finally moved the family out here over the weekend, and we're living in Kenyon, and I'm going to do the commute to Faribault, and very glad to be in the area, very excited.
How did you choose Kenyon?
Well, it just happened to fall into place. My wife found a rental listing of a 100-year-old Victorian home on the internet, and the pictures look great, and drove out the next night to look at it with a check in hand, and the rest is history.
Is this right in town on Gunderson Boulevard, or what?
It's on Red Wing Avenue in Kenyon. So okay. If you're coming from Zumbrota on 60, it loops down, and then you just keep going straight.
Okay, Red Wing Avenue, old Victorian house.
Yep. Got a lot of charm, a lot of character.
Kenyon's got a lot of charm.
Yeah, it is. It's a lovely little spot.
A lot of character.
Very peaceful.
They used to have a very vibrant community theater in Kenyon.
So I understand.
Unfortunately, like many small towns, went by the by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we still have a lot of community theater here in Faribault. Paradise Community Theater, and of course, the Merlin Players, who are sort of a resident rental in the Paradise.
Yeah, they're both professional theater.
Both very active. So there's a lot of good stuff on the stage.
So this job obviously interested you, or you wouldn't have interviewed for. What was it about the Paradise that you liked?
A going concern in a small community is always a good thing, and especially given that the Paradise is such a great economic driver. And I took one look at the Main Street area, Central Avenue, and it's the architecture is just fantastic. The very historic look of Main Street is very attractive. And then I saw that marquee out front and went, wow, this is a place this is something else. So, and I went inside, saw the lobby, and then the theater, and got the tour, and something just clicked. Something just clicked for me. So,
well, obviously it worked because you're here.
Because I'm here, yeah. I said yes.
Fantastic.
A lot of great things could happen when you just say yes, instead of, sometimes you don't even want to think about it.
It was Nancy Reagan that came up with just say no.
It was just say no, yeah.
But now Carter Martin says, just say yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
We should trademark that.
Yeah,
we say yes.
There you go.
A lot of things can happen in life if you just say yes.
Absolutely.
That little three-letter word.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So Carter Martin is with us. He's going to give us a little bit more of his background, I guess. How did you get interested in the arts?
Oh, well, I grew up with it. I grew up loving theater and music. Did a lot of musicals in high school, and a lot of straight plays, and couldn't decide whether I was going to major in music or theater coming out of high school and going into college, but toyed with the idea of doing both, and everybody looked at me like, no, you're going to kill yourself. So finally came down on the theater side, and spent a lot of time having a lot of fun. Theater's a very communal, social art, because you're up there on a stage with a whole lot of different people, and you all have to build a sense of trust with each other. And so that sort of thing, builds a lot of camaraderie, and it's just a great deal of fun.
It gets in your blood, doesn't
And it does, and it's not just the applause, although that's huge. But it's really, if you're really burning with it, if you have that fire in the belly, you've got a desire to really bring a character to life and make it real for the people who are, paying the money for the ticket to sit in that seat and watch. So one got a theater degree from Barra College in Lake Forest, Illinois, north of Chicago, and then went on to get a master's in arts admin from Columbia College downtown. I don't recommend the commute, but it was a great experience. I actually lived far north side of Chicago for about 8 years, and so I commuted north to work and then all the way down into downtown for grad school classes 3 nights a week. And went on from there, started a career in management at the Ravinia Festival outside Chicago. It's North America's oldest summer music festival, and helped run one of their education programs for about 8 years. Went from there to Columbus, Ohio to work for a company called Ballet Met, and I was their company manager, so I was responsible for getting them on tour. And we danced our way around the Midwest, went out to Reno and Phoenix for a couple of gigs with a ballet called Beauty and the Beast. They had a full-length story ballet version of Beauty and the Beast, and they also did a white-hot version of Dracula that would melt your socks. So if you ever get out to Columbus, they're still going strong. Ballet Met Columbus. They go out there around Halloween and see if they're remounting their production of Dracula. It's something else.
Wow.
Yeah. And then went from there, came out to Minnesota, and worked for the John Hassler Theater in Plainview, which alas is gone by the wayside. And went from there to Viterbo University, where I was director of event operations for their Fine Arts Center, and now I'm here at the Paradise. So I've kind of done the Midwest tour, as it were. So greater and greater responsibility in smaller and smaller towns, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all.
Nope.
Nope.
There's something pretty special about small town living.
It's very true. It's a lot easier and a lot more compelling to get out into a small community, because if you really want to get to know the people who are making the town vital and alive, you've got to get out of your office. You got to go see the folks at the chamber. You've got to go see the folks at the Lions Club and the Rotary and all that stuff. And that's a lot easier if you're in a smaller town. There's a greater feel of close-knitness, I think. So
it certainly is.
Yeah.
So after college,
yeah,
the first job was
at the Ravinia Festival, and that's in Highland Park, Illinois.
How long was that?
About 8 years. Well, 10 if you really count. I worked there during my college years,
okay.
And started in their box office and answered the phones, took phone orders for tickets, and then worked a summer in 1990 in their backstage of their pavilion. So I got to meet a lot of great artists and see a lot of great shows, and that was the big bonus. So I was meeting people like Tony Bennett and Peter, Paul and Mary and Cab Calloway. I got to meet. And
who's your favorite?
Oh, my favorite amongst the most genuine artist I think I ever met was Tony Bennett. Pulled his limo one afternoon. I was outside on a break, and he gets out, shakes my hand, shakes the hand of one of my fellow summer workers, and absolutely humble man. Really, no trace of diva or ego about him.
Even though he pulls up in a limo.
Yeah, even though he pulled up in a limo, man, and took his work, didn't take himself seriously, but took his work absolutely seriously.
I believe that. I've read that about him.
Still doing vocal warm-ups in his dressing room before the show at his age, and it's no wonder he's still got those pipes, because he's still going.
He can still carry it to him.
Yeah, he can. And the most extraordinary thing, I mentioned Cab Calloway. He was something else. He had that great smile and that great attitude, and he could pull off, he's still pulling off Minnie the Moocher after all those years. But when I dropped him off at his hotel, he was on his own. He had no entourage. He had, you know, no posse, as it were. It was him and his suit bag in which he carried the white tuxedo. And I dropped him at his hotel after his performance, and it was just the singular image of the lone man walking back into the hotel was kind of compelling. You know, it was an interesting look at an artist.
Sounds like a humble guy too.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Also great artists. You know, very popular, and a little more commanding. You know, in the attitude. So it was. We were on our toes that week.
Like they wanted what? Butterfingers after the show or something?
Maybe something like that, or green M&Ms in the dressing room.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some of the other stories I've heard of artists and what they.
Yeah, I think I know some artists. I think they put stuff in the rider just to make sure you're reading it. You know, they only want the brown M&Ms in the bowl to make sure you're actually reading the rider and actually doing what they're asking. You know, and they don't really care if there's green in there. They just want to see if you're reading the paperwork. So. Yeah, but no, it was a lot of fun being there, and it was a great start to my education.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they've had some fantastic folks perform here at the Paradise.
Yes, indeed.
Louis
Anderson. I've never met him, and I hope to. Get him back out here again. Absolutely Minnesota nice, from what I understand, and knows how to deal with a heckler too. Because I've heard stories about how he'll knock them back, he'll brush them down. So,
that's good.
Yeah.
No sense in having to put up with that.
No, you need to be in control of your show and your audience. So
I want to get your first impressions of the building.
Yeah.
And you already, I think, gave us your first impression of downtown pretty much.
Sure.
You love the historical nature of the downtown area.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I drove through on Saturday. I was taking a 26-foot U-Haul back to Dundas, Minnesota, and I took it through town here because I wanted to see what was happening here on a Saturday afternoon. And crowds out, cars parked on the street, a lot of hustle and bustle. It's a good thing. But first impressions of the building. Again,
you talked about the marquee.
Oh, the marquee, and inside, you know, you've got that beautiful art gallery and a great lobby space, and the theater itself is hewn to that historical look from the 20s and 30s, which I think is just gorgeous. I love history, and American history in particular.
Yeah,
and
obviously you're going into an old Victorian home, so you obviously
yeah,
like history.
Yeah. So I love it when the modern day owners pay real attention to that historical accuracy and just the spirit of how the thing started.
You a big vaudeville guy?
A little bit, yeah. I love early Marx Brothers and vaudeville and all that sort of thing. Sure, I love that theatrical and musical history. So
which was here, of course, from long before television.
Oh, sure, television and even before radio, in a lot of ways. So yeah, that's where it all started. That so many traditions stem from vaudeville, and all of the great performers that we knew, Jack Benny and George Burns, Milton Berle, all got their start in vaudeville, and it's seminal. Absolutely seminal, and that theater tradition, comes down to this very day. So
it really was no surprise those guys were successful in television.
Yeah.
Was it? The early pioneers of television were the guys we just mentioned.
Sure. Yeah, and I think they found it so easy to transfer because they had that natural instinct for what was funny and what would cross the fourth wall and make a hit with the audience. And so really, if you forget for a moment that the TV camera is over there, really what you're just doing is doing your vaudeville. It just happens that there's a TV camera watching. So
instead of the audience.
And with the audience.
And they could relate to their audiences.
Yep. They could do that. And we're still doing that today at the Paradise. We're out on the stage and working through that fourth wall and relating to the crowd.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing like live theater.
Yeah, it is. It's tough today because It's so easy just to sit in front of your TV. It's so easy when
With the remote.
With the remote,
Hundreds of channels.
Yep, hundreds of channels. Although I still believe it's 75 channels and nothing on. I've flipped cable many times, and about the only thing I want to watch is Cubs baseball because I spent so much time in Chicago.
Sure, Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Field, yeah.
If you're a baseball fan, you haven't been to Wrigley Field.
Oh, you're missing out on one of the great ballparks. But before I leave the thought of cable TV, it's competition. It's competition, and so we still fight the battle to get people to come out and experience the live performance experience, because you can't take your remote into the theater. I mean, you could sit there and click it, but what's in front of you is not going to go away. And that's what's great about theater is it's up close. It can even be visceral if you've got a really good dramatic production going. You can affect people's emotions in ways that sometimes that audience isn't ready for and doesn't expect.
And the same is true for the actors.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They might hear a laughter at something that they don't think is funny at all.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and that often happens on like opening night. You think you know where the laugh lines are, and you think you've got it timed out perfectly, and then something hits that you're not ready for, and you have to adapt and change the whole pulse of what you're doing. So that's what makes acting a challenge, and it's staying on top of it.
Carter Martin is with us. He's the executive director of the Paradise Center for the Arts. On your website, which I think is a terrific website,
Thank you.
Paradise Center for the Arts website, paradisecenterforthearts.org. On your website it says, our mission is to create a vivid and energetic cultural center for the community and region. By showcasing regional artists and offering high-quality visual and performing arts opportunities, we enhance the quality of life for artists and art lovers throughout the region and beyond.
Indeed, and I think that's exactly what's been built here, is a lively center for the visual arts, a lively center for the performing arts, and it's right here in Faribault. Folks, it's in your own backyard. I know that it's wonderful to go to the Twin Cities for entertainment, and it's a great cultural mecca up there, but please remember, this is right here. This is, blocks away from where you live and where you work. And so come, if you haven't been to the Paradise, come and check us out. Come and check us out.
Man, I know.
We want you to come and enjoy it.
I know we've got quite a South Metro following, because they realize coming down here they don't have to pay for parking.
Right.
And the meal before the show or after the show is less expensive, but
sure. And
equally as good or better.
Right, and I know you've got plenty of options right there on Central Avenue. I mean, I know that people head over to the Cheese Cave beforehand and fill up before the show, and maybe go over to the Signature after the show for a little post-show drink and maybe a meal before you head home. So we've got it. We've got what you need here. We've got you covered. We've got your stomach covered, and we've got your appetite for live performance covered, and entertainment. So we're burning on all cylinders.
Yeah, they're really. I think even from the moment they opened their doors back in 2007, I believe that has the potential of being an absolute gold mine for this community, because now that the bike trails encircling the town pretty much, finishing all that up, biking enthusiasts can come down here and enjoy biking and enjoy the theater. And
Yep, you've got that. You've got, I guess, I haven't had a chance to get out a little west of town, but I know you've got bodies of water out there that I'm very interested in getting to. I'm thrilled about the new dog park myself, because my border collie needs to run. So I'm looking forward to finding out what's great about living in Faribault.
Well,
and I'm going to ask you that question. So you tell me, what is great about living in this town?
I've been here 28 years.
28 years.
So there must be something really good about it.
There must be something.
I like the people here.
Good.
I like the fact that I am close enough to the cities to enjoy what they have to offer, but I don't have to live in that rat race. But the people.
Good.
That's what Faribault is all about.
And it's the people who make your town. It's the people who make your artistic entity too. And so
things like concerts in the park, which are held down at the tremendous band shell we have here in Central Park every Thursday beginning in, I think later this month. Joel Ron's going to stop by the way, on the show and,
Okay.
and get us enlightened about some of those concerts in the park. He's agreed to be on the program here. So that's just a couple of the things that make Faribault a great place to live. But number one thing is the people.
Good, good.
Good
Well,
people here.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to meeting them.
Pretty much straight shooting people.
Yeah, good.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
Carter Martin, where do you see, I know you just started, what do you envision here?
Well, I mean, we've got a great foundation that's been built in our music series, in our comedy series, and in the performance series. So what am I envisioning? I hope more educational opportunities. I know we've got the great classes in studio art. I would love to see more classes in theater for young people and, you know, for young adults and people of any age who want to brush up on their acting skills and learn what it's like to build a character from scratch and really make it live. I would like to see opportunities just to get school kids exposed to the performance experience. If you don't get it when you're young, it's never going to make that impression, and you're going to lose out on something, I think, that's really fundamental to not just living your life, but also, you know, it's something fundamental to the soul. And it's great when you know that the arts can provide a foundation that help your learning and help your just help the way you interact with other people, because the arts are such a collaborative, theater is such a collaborative work. It's a great tool for teaching kids how to work with different people and how to start a project from scratch and build it to a real culmination when you walk out onto that stage and when you get applause at the end of whatever piece you're working on. That's a great boost for young people.
And I really think it helps develop your emotional intelligence.
Yes, it does. You're right. You're absolutely right. EQ, IQ gets so much emphasis,
right.
And what we're learning more and more about emotional intelligence and how that helps you navigate your way through life. And so, yes, the theater
maybe more important than the IQ.
Maybe more important because it focuses on just how you interact with other people and how you make an impression on your fellow workers, your fellow human beings.
The ability to be able to put yourself in the other person's place.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what acting does.
Sure.
You know, you're playing a character.
Yeah.
You got to relate to that character. You may not have ever experienced the things that your character in the play has experienced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got to be able to put yourself in those shoes.
Right. And any good acting teacher will tell you, you start with your own emotional experience as a basis. But the magic question is, what would I do if I were this character in this situation? So it's not what would I do in this situation, but it was what I would do if I were, you know, what's the kid's name from Brighton Beach Memoirs, or what would I do if I were Hamlet in the Shakespeare play, or what would I do if I were Harry Potter, if there were a Harry Potter musical? And so there are all kinds of opportunities to figure out, use your imagination and figure out, and that just broadens the emotional context of your life.
And you have to do that when you sing a song too. You
Sure.
Put yourself into the emotion of the song.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you put yourself in the emotion of a song. You can put yourself in the emotion of a dance. Yeah, it all carries emotional weight.
An art piece as well.
Mm-hmm.
What do I want to depict with this?
Sure.
What sort of emotions do I want to have the viewer feel when they look at my piece?
Yeah, and that's great when the emotion that you put into the brushstrokes or whatever your medium is, that you have psychic energy that translates into that piece, that hopefully translates back out to the person who's viewing it through the prism of their own experience. And that's what makes art really fascinating and really unpredictable in some ways, because everyone's experience is different, and so every individual will bring something unique to whatever they're tackling, whether that's a character, whether it's a painting, whether it's a song. So there are myriad possibilities.
I was in Italy last month.
Were you?
Boy, did we see a lot of art.
Where in Italy were you?
Well, we were in Rome and Pompeii, and some of the.
Oh, you went to Pompeii?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I understand there's some very interesting art in Pompeii, some interesting graffiti.
Yeah, there's most of the places I went to were very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. What struck you?
And
What struck you the most?
You know, Europe, they're into, I mean, they're art.
Yep, definitely, definitely.
Well, hopefully we can get you on again here, Carter. It wasn't
Okay.
too bad an experience.
No.
We got a few seconds left of the show.
Okay.
But I appreciate your stopping by.
All right. Can I do a quick plug for
Sure.
our upcoming production, the Paradise Community Theater
Oh, that's
presents
right.
Amadeus.
Amadeus, yes.
Which very quickly is based on a little bit of imaginative history. There was always a rumor that the great composer Mozart was killed by his rival Antonio Salieri. Historically, it's probably not true. It probably didn't happen. But come and see what the imaginative playwright Peter Schaffer does with a twist on that story.
I'm sure we'll have some actors in studio about that when the play comes near. I'm pretty sure. You're in tune to KDHL AM, Faribault, Minnesota.